with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
I'm Colin Brazier. I've reported from more than 70 countries around the world, covered wars from Afghanistan to Iraq, from Lebanon to the Balkans. I'm trying to bring that experience, that feel for events, to the studio. And something else. I'm ready to give an opinion. Today's stories with a spark. Brazier from 8 p.m. weekdays on GB News.
Thank you. Welcome once again to On the Money, your daily dose of economics, business and consumer news. I'm Liam Halligan, and for the next hour we've got a special programme for you because, as you can see, we are in the titanic Belfast Visitor Centre here in the capital of Northern Ireland. You see the Lagan River behind me and remnants of Northern Ireland's shipbuilding heritage. Now, back in the early 20th century, Northern Ireland dominated world shipbuilding, and Harland and Wolff dominated shipbuilding here in Northern Ireland. It was a major employer under the engine room of the local economy. Well, today, the Northern Irish economy, it still has a beating heart. It still revolves around manufacturing, but also food processing, financial services, cybersecurity, life and health sciences. This is an economy that's attracted an awful lot of inward investment over the years, and particularly since the signing of that key Belfast Good Friday Agreement in 1998. Over 1,100 global companies are represented here in Northern Ireland, and they are attracted by a skilled young workforce and two world-class universities, Queen's and Ulster, here in Belfast, which have fantastic IT and cyber security centres. There are issues. Public spending here in Northern Ireland is 21% above the UK average. And of course, post-Brexit, there are still issues with that Northern Ireland Protocol, ongoing negotiations between the British government and the EU authorities. But as ever here on The Money, we're going to have an in-depth discussion with people who really know their stuff. So stay tuned for this first ever special edition of On The Money from Northern Ireland. That's after the GB News headlines with Paul Hawkins.
Good afternoon, I'm Tamsin Roberts. This is your news at 1 o'clock. Ministers in Northern Ireland have announced a series of new restrictions to try and curb the spread of COVID-19. People will be asked to work from home and limit their social contacts and meet outdoors where possible. The executive says intervention is now required as admissions are rising and are expected to increase further in the coming weeks. The Requiem Mass of Sir David Amess, the Conservative MP who was killed during a constituency meeting last month, has taken place at Westminster Cathedral. The Archbishop of Westminster led the service alongside a representative from the Vatican who delivered a special message from Pope Francis. The Catholic duty priest for Parliament told the service how Sir David was a much-loved man.
David could laugh at himself, and in doing so he brought many people together. Many of you will know about the boiled sweet episode, when in St. Peter's Square in Rome and the Pope was passing by, how he struggled to find in his pocket his rosary beads, seeking to pull them out for the Pope to bless them. He presented instead a boiled sweet in its package, which Pope Benedict graciously and innocently blessed and moved on.
At least 45 people, including 12 children, have died in a minibus crash in western Bulgaria. 7 people who managed to escape are in hospital in a stable condition. The incident happened on a highway about 45 kilometres west of the capital, Sofia, in the early hours of this morning. It thought the majority of passengers were tourists from North Macedonia. Bulgarian officials say the cause of the crash is not yet known. MPs have narrowly voted in favour of cost-saving reforms to the government's social care policy. They won the vote by 26, with 87 Conservative MPs rebelling or abstaining. The changes mean only personal contributions will count towards an £86,000 cap. State benefits won't be included. Some backbench MPs say the changes will hit the poorest people hardest and could force some to sell their homes to cover the cost of care. Chief Executive of Cascadair, Belinda Schwer, says the government doesn't understand the care system.
Even though the poor will be impacted on more directly, it will be better for more people. The real problem is that there hasn't been a proper debate by people who understand the system. Families whose representatives step up and do informal care are actually saving the rest of us from having to pay more tax. And yet the charging system will not take account of how much care you get.
It's emerged that the man accused of killing 5 people at a parade in Wisconsin was out on bail on domestic abuse charges. Darrell Brooks faces 5 counts of first-degree homicide after police say he deliberately drove his car into the Christmas parade on Sunday. 48 people were injured, including 6 children who are in a critical condition. The Milwaukee District Attorney has said Brooks had been out on inappropriately low bail. Black Friday may not be the best time of year to land a good deal. Consumer group Which investigated 6 major retailers and found around 92% of products, including washing machines, soundbars and TVs, were the same price or cheaper in the 6 months before Black Friday. And in the 6 months after, almost all, that's 98% of items, were cheaper or the same price. The Brit Awards are going gender neutral, with the male and female categories being scrapped. Instead, prizes will be given to Artist of the Year and International Artist of the Year. Sam Smith, who won the Critics' Choice Prize in 2014 and identifies as gender neutral, was among those pushing for the move. The awards take place at the O2 Arena in London in February. Well, you're right up to date. I'll bring you the latest headlines in half an hour. Now, let's return to On the Money.
And welcome back to the Titanic Belfast Visitor Centre here in the capital of Northern Ireland, the Lagan River in the background. We've got a packed show for you here today. We're going to be having an in-depth discussion with local business leaders about the business environment here in Northern Ireland, the economic outlook in this vital part of the UK. We're going to be hearing from a husband and wife business team. They've set up a local manufacturing business. We're going to hear from them about why they chose to stay here in Northern Ireland to raise their families. Stay with us. This is the first of 3 programmes today, Wednesday and Thursday, On the Money specials from Northern Ireland. As ever here on The Money, you know the drill, in-depth discussions with people who really know their stuff. And I'm delighted to be joined here in Belfast by Alan Lowry. Alan's the CEO of Environmental and Street Furniture, a very innovative company. I've been following you in recent months ahead of this trip. And we've got Ken Nelson, who is the CEO of the Local Economic Development Partnership and is the chair of Intertrade Ireland as well, somebody who really has their finger on the pulse of economics and business here in Northern Ireland and across the whole of the island of Ireland. Alan, let's talk to you first. Tell us about the business outlook here. A lot of the people across the rest of the UK don't often think of Northern Ireland as an economically vibrant place, but particularly since that vital Belfast Good Friday Agreement, which I talked about in the introduction, there's a lot going on here, isn't there?
There is, Liam. There's a lot going on in Northern Ireland. I think Northern Ireland's very much an SME business community.
Small and medium-sized enterprises.
All small businesses. A lot of them are family-owned businesses. A lot of them are 3rd or 4th generation businesses. And one of the issues has been, as things have moved on over recent times, that a lot of those family businesses maybe haven't quite moved on as quickly as they should have. And you've got organisations in Northern Ireland like the Federation of Small Businesses who are really pushing these businesses to outside Northern Ireland for business and export opportunities and for looking to see how they can actually develop and grow their business. So there's a great wealth of talent here. You mentioned at the top of the show about the universities here. The graduates coming out are excellent, and we need to hold on to them. We need to hold on so we can build our businesses with them. So just had a couple of mic issues there. Apologies to viewers. Basically, you're saying there's a lot of economic activity going on here. Things have been a lot better since the late 90s, and you were echoing what I said in my opening statements about the importance of the higher education sector here in general and the skill of the workforce, but particularly the IT stuff that's going on at Queen's and at Ulster University here in Belfast and indeed across Northern Ireland. Ken, let's talk to you. To what extent do you think the economy of Northern Ireland has changed since Brexit? There's obviously a lot of change in progress, but what difference, good and bad, has Brexit made?
Well, firstly, welcome to Belfast, Liam.
We're very pleased to be here.
And it's a great setting that we're in here in terms of the history of this place, in terms of the innovation, entrepreneurship. But even down the road from where we're sitting is the Catalyst, the Northern Ireland Science Park. And they're seeing an increasing flow of companies who are very innovative, who are looking for new opportunities. So Brexit, yes, certainly has been a significant change for the whole of the UK and for the island of Ireland. But with every challenge, there's an opportunity. And we're seeing that companies are seizing those opportunities. My day job is I'm CEO of Ledcom, we're the Enterprise Centre for Ballyclare and Larne. We work with startups and pre-startups, but also, as you mentioned, the role of Intertrade Ireland. We work with micro businesses and SMEs right across the island of Ireland. This Thursday, I'm due to chair the Seat Court Award panel, and we have a whole raft of companies coming through, highly innovative stuff, be it biopharma, be it a range of sectors, and I think that speaks very well. One of the things we're seeing is there's considerable growth in the business north and south. The supply chains have strengthened. The number of companies who are doing business north and south has grown. Near markets are often a very good opportunity for those companies to move into exporting for the first time. And it's not just north-south, it's east-west as well. There's still growth. Last Friday we launched, we're members of Enterprise Northern Ireland, the trade association of all the enterprise centres. We do the largest survey each year of micro and small businesses, and something like over 40% of those businesses are doing better over the last year. They've seen their sales increase, their profitability increase, and they're taking on people. And as they look into 2022, there's a fair degree of optimism. So despite the uncertainty that Brexit and all that's associated with it has brought, I think businesses are very resilient. I mean, Alan, who's also benefited from the support of organisations like mine and Intertrade Ireland, they go out and they look for opportunities. And to use the old phrase, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And if Brexit and other uncertainties are part of that tougher climate, those businesses are responding and they're very resilient. Lots of tough and resilient people here in Northern Ireland. Alan, tell us a bit more about your business. Explain to viewers what you do and how you manage to sell your goods and services across the world. Our business supplies street furniture, which is like litter bins, benches, bollards, products that you would see in the urban domain. But what we do is we integrate a lot of technology into them. So we use solar technology and wind technology to generate energy. And you can use it for things like charging a mobile phone off your bench, or you can use it for compacting litter within a bin. So there's a lot of innovation built into the product range. And we export those to 27 countries around the world now. Wow. As far away as Australia, as random as Kazakhstan, and some really great markets that we've been able to identify by going to the markets, by doing exhibitions, by using trade missions, sponsored by InvestNI and Department of International Trade. Just 2 weeks ago I was in Dubai at the Expo, where we managed to secure a number of projects at the Expo site there for our products. So it was great to be able to go out there and do that. So, you know, there is massive opportunities around the world if you've got a good product range. As Ken has said, there's a lot of innovation here, and the market is very resilient for sure. Ken, a lot of people talk about the inward investment that Northern Ireland attracts, and per head, you're a relatively small economy, but per head you attract more inward investment even than Scotland does, and Scotland's well known for its inward investment. I think a lot of that follows the workforce, doesn't it? You have a young, very well educated workforce. Is it still the case, as it has been over generations, both in Northern Ireland and across the island of Ireland, that some of the best young people leave? Or is it the case now that Northern Ireland can hold on to some of its
dynamic young people who feel this is a place with prospects, stability and hope, a place where they want to put down roots and raise a family?
Well, as a father of 6 young people,
plenty of roots.
Plenty of roots, but yeah, my view would be that it is. I think if you look at Northern Ireland's performance on the world stage, we're the #1 destination across the world for fintech investment.
Yeah.
We're very strong in aerospace, construction, agri-food, a whole raft of sectors, and that's creating real opportunities. So it's not only from the higher education, which turns out first-class graduates, we have a superb schools system, but also I happen to be the chair of one of Northern Ireland's 6 further education colleges, and I know from the Northern Regional College perspective, we're seeing the strengths and the vibrancy of that skills pipeline of young people coming through. The companies are very keen for skills. I mean, that survey I referenced earlier, one of the big concerns for them is finding people. Many of those SMEs and those micro businesses have vacancies, something like 35% of them.
Wow.
A number of those can't actually find people to fill those vacancies at the moment. So there's a real opportunity for young people coming through, and I think Northern Ireland is in an exceptionally strong position. And also many of those SMEs and micro businesses said that they do think there are real opportunities in the dual opportunity for Northern Ireland on the island of Ireland. I'm not going to make any political comment on the protocol and on Brexit, but I think businesses seek out opportunities, and we're uniquely placed to grab some of those opportunities.
Well, of course, throughout the 3 days that we're here, I'm here with our political editor, Darren McCaffrey, who himself is well known in Northern Ireland. He's from Fermanagh. He grew up in Enniskillen, and we'll be exploring those political issues too. But Alan, as we showcase Northern Ireland business here, obviously you're CEO of a successful business, you're exporting all over the world. What needs to change here to help you do even better?
I think there needs to be a realisation that when businesses want to grow and they want to move forward, they need that support. There's been a lot of challenges over the last number of years between governmental support, and whether that's head through the councils or whether it's through central government, and I think it needs to be made clear to support people. Just today there's an event going on in the Ulster University called Back to Startup, and basically it's about trying to get entrepreneurs, young enthusiastic people really wanting to start their own business again. Northern Ireland has got a very low rate of startups, and we need to change that, and we need to make sure that people who've got good ideas, good proposals to do it, get the support they need at the right time, and we need to put a mechanism in place to make sure that happens, because that's the business of the future, and that's what's going to make the growth in Northern Ireland.
How's the pandemic been here in Northern Ireland in terms of the impact on the business community? Ken, obviously it's been very, very difficult for everybody across the UK, but do you think it's been particularly tough on Northern Ireland, logistically, economically?
I think it's added to the problems of being an island off an island, if you want to put it in those terms. But I think, again, companies have responded well. When we look at that survey I mentioned earlier, there's a large degree of optimism that they can get through COVID next year. Business doesn't like uncertainty, as you know, Liam, and it adds to the uncertainty. I think the Northern Ireland Executive has certainly done its best to ensure that we can get through COVID strongly. There's been a lot of support for business, and I think we have to pay tribute to central government and to local government for all the support that's been there to help those businesses trade through COVID. I'm sure, Alan, you've benefited from that as well as others have. So I think government has really stepped up to the plate to help companies deal with COVID, but it certainly had a huge impact. But on the other hand, the vaccination programme and all the support that's come through that has really helped people to respond.
Briefly from both of you, we're just running out of time. You're both well-known business leaders in the community here. You're both absolutely wedded, blood and faith and everything here to Northern Ireland, driving the economy forward. What's the one thing, briefly, Alan, you'd say to inward investors to attract them here?
I think you need to visit, you need to see what's here, you need to see the success of the businesses that are here, and then you'll soon realise why so much inward investment's coming into here, because of the people. And very briefly from you, Ken?
Well, there's over 1,100 international companies who have come here. They come for the skills, they come for the very competitive cost base, they come for the innovation, and they come for the support.
Alan Lowry, CEO of Environmental and Street Furniture, and of course Ken Nelson, CEO of Legcom, Chair of Intertrade Ireland. Thanks a lot for joining us here on GB News. Well, we were talking briefly there about the protocol, and after the break we'll be talking to Lorraine Nelson, another well-known person here in Northern Ireland. She's a chartered tax advisor. We'll be getting into the nitty-gritty of that Northern Ireland protocol. Stay with us, you're on the money.
It's time to remind ourselves there's always another winter. Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
Hi there, High pressure remains close to the UK, so dry for most with some sunshine today. But actually there is a lot of cloud, a bit more compared to yesterday in a few places. That cloud coming in around the top of the high, especially for northern parts of the UK, but also some cloud affecting eastern and southern districts as well. So sunshine a bit more limited compared to yesterday, but still some sunny spells about the Midlands into parts of East Anglia, southern England and South Wales. Otherwise a generally cloudy picture, the cloud thick enough for a few spots of rain and drizzle for parts of North Wales, northern and western Scotland as well, similar to yesterday really. Fewer showers for the far southeast. They'll tend to remain offshore, and temperatures around average for the time of year, 8 to 10 Celsius. Now heading into the evening, and the cloud tends to sink south somewhat. Where we do keep the clearer spells, fog will form, some dense fog patches in places. Where we get the cloudier skies, it will remain a bit milder and fog and frost free. But this weather front will sink south into northern and western Scotland, parts of Northern Ireland by dawn. A period of rain, nothing particularly heavy or prolonged, but it does clear the air to colder conditions following on for Wednesday itself. So we'll start off with that area of cloud and rain pushing into southern Scotland, the rest of Northern Ireland, arriving into northern England and North Wales by lunchtime. Further south, some dense fog about first thing, but otherwise it's a cloudy day for many, temperatures similar to today. But for Scotland and Northern Ireland, brighter, but also more showery weather and a blustery cold breeze comes along. So it's going to turn a bit more wintry, I think, over the tops of the mountains, and actually snow level coming down to about 300 metres for northern Scotland by Wednesday evening. It will tend to settle above 500 or 600 metres, and then the weather turns even colder later this week. It also turns much windier and more unsettled with rain and hill snow.
Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
You're watching GB News live across the UK and the world on our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We are here for you. Don't forget to join our YouTube community by clicking on that subscribe button.
And if you want the GB News app, you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you, so email us.
gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
I'm Colin Brazier. I've reported from more than 70 countries around the world, covered wars from Afghanistan to Iraq, from Lebanon to the Balkans. I'm trying to bring that experience, that feel for events, to the studio. And something else, I'm ready to give an opinion. Today's stories with a spark. Brazier from 8 p.m. weekdays on GB News.
Welcome back. You're on the money with me, Liam Halligan, and this is the first of 3 Northern Ireland on the money specials. Today, Wednesday and Thursday, we're broadcasting from the Titanic Belfast visitor attraction, the Lagan River behind me, in tribute to Northern Ireland's shipbuilding, heritage and expertise. In this section, we're going to hear from Lorraine Nelson. Now, Lorraine, you're a chartered tax advisor. You work for Grant Thornton, a major global accounting firm here in Belfast. Let me ask you about the Northern Ireland Protocol. It's Experts like you, who often have to get their heads around the paperwork to deal with the difficult nitty-gritty issues that businesses need to get their arms around to make the protocol work. How's it actually operating in practice at the moment?
I think there still seems to be a lot of uncertainty around it. Obviously we have the Trader Support Service, which the government have put in place, where it's a helpline that businesses can phone and get some assistance with. I think it's just probably that end-to-end is still not there yet. You know, businesses are still having a lot of problems getting stuff in, supplies in from GB, and then what do they do with that, and then bringing it back into GB or exporting it to the rest of the world. So there's just a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of time intensity that businesses have had. And a lot of businesses are bringing new staff in, and it's just obviously it's a new area of expertise, so there's obviously then very little of that expertise available here.
There are particular issues for people who are trying to get goods, components, raw materials from GB, Great Britain to Northern Ireland. And it's not so difficult, is it, from people who want to export from Northern Ireland to the rest of the world? It's that GB to Northern Ireland leg that's proving very difficult under the terms of the protocol. And we're going to be hearing from a business later in the programme just up the road in Ballyclare who will discuss those issues. But there are also some opportunities here, aren't there, Lorraine? Businesses also tell me if things stay as they are, and of course we've got ongoing negotiations between the British government and the European Commission in Brussels, but if things stay as they are, some businesses quite like it, don't they?
I think there is opportunities probably there somewhere. It's just probably just finding those niche areas where there would be opportunities, because I think on the heads of terms we should have unfettered access to GB and also unfettered access to the EU. It's just how can we actually use that? And I think at the moment, with a lot of talk around the protocol, it's just creating more uncertainty for businesses who are spending a lot of time, a lot of money trying to figure out what they need to do now, and is that going to change next week or next month or next year? So I think it's that uncertainty that is still really making difficulties for businesses. But you know, I think with businesses here in Northern Ireland, and I was just attending the NI Top 100 Companies list announcement this morning, and it's just in that room of businesses, you know, there's been so much more growth here in Northern Ireland with those businesses, and I think it's just around businesses will find a way to make things work. So I think a lot of businesses are just, you know, this is what we want to do, this is an opportunity, we'll go after it. And I suppose just a lot of businesses now coming up to the Brexit deadline, we're sort of just let's keep businesses running, and then a lot of the paperwork is now coming now and trying to sort out what the nitty-gritty and what forms need to be filled in and things like that. Broadly speaking, it keeps Northern Ireland in the EU's single market in order to try and avoid a hard border between the north of Ireland and the Republic of Ireland to the south. Obviously, you can't talk about particular businesses, they're your clients, the client confidentiality and so on, you're a professional person. But have you seen businesses really struggle with this? Have you seen businesses not grow as fast as they should, or even have to fold because of this extra rigmarole, all this bureaucracy? Well, I think businesses are being hit with not just Brexit, with also the COVID issues with sort of labour supply, and then also just the cost of transport and supply chains have also sort of been marred up into this sort of at the same time. You know, a lot of businesses have been dealing with the GB to NI supply chain has been difficult, and even sort of big EU companies who maybe have distributors in the UK or GB who that and GB stuff then coming to here, is a lot of those businesses are just saying, well, the NI market isn't big enough for us, so we'll just leave you to deal with it. They don't want to help out or change their supply chain or how they get the goods here. So sometimes that's a bit of a difficulty for businesses, that their smaller businesses here then are left with sort of holding the baby as such to sort out all the paperwork for that, which puts a lot of pressure on them. Let me talk about you personally, if I may, Lorraine. You know, you're obviously a very smart person. You're a tax director at Grant Thornton. You're at the top of your profession. You could work in the City of London. You could probably work in New York or Canada if you wanted to. What is it that makes you stay here, given that you are such a sort of agile part of the labour force? You could work from anywhere and do well anywhere. I think just, I suppose, roots are here, families here, you know, sort of the people here. I love working with the team. The businesses here are great to work with. A lot of the businesses I work with are either, you know, maybe foreign-owned companies or companies that are starting to export around the world, and sort of it's just really exciting. And, you know, I think just the people here makes Northern Ireland what it is.
Great to hear from you. Lorraine Nelson there, Tax Director at Grant Thornton. I hear this so often here in Northern Ireland. It's about roots, it's about family, it's about the people. And talking to the people, let's turn to GB News' very own Northern Ireland correspondent. It's Doogie Beattie, who's outside Stormont. Doogie, what can you tell?
Well, I am, as you've pointed out, outside Stormont, the Parliament of Northern Ireland, and the Road Hauliers Association have just gone in there now, and they're very much upset with the protocol. Not everybody dislikes the protocol. You spoke to two manufacturers there. They love the protocol. It gives them access to two different markets, two very good markets, two very financially able markets. But it also causes problems with supply chains. Northern Ireland is only about 1.6 to 1.8 million people living on this island. We don't have big infrastructure. Our trains and so forth are not there. So the road hauliers are a big player in this, and they believe that they are being left aside and they're not being listened to. They have had loads destroyed by held up with paperwork, and the amount of paperwork they have to do is costing them an absolute fortune.
Doogie, obviously logistics are a key part of the Northern Ireland economy. The road hauliers playing a crucial role, and Northern Ireland not only dealing with ongoing Brexit uncertainties, despite some advantages, as you say, but also the supply chain snarl-ups really that are affecting people across the world. But I think you've also want to report something about COVID here in Northern Ireland.
Yes, well, this is disjointed government, a bit like you can't say an awful lot about the protocol that people jump on you. The COVID point of things here, the Health Minister has wanted to impose or has suggested that they may close down hospitality here to avoid another COVID spike in Northern Ireland. Now, this close to Christmas and with that much money already let out by hotels, coffee shops and eateries, that's totally unacceptable. As well as that we don't have a furlough scheme still in place here. Nobody has come up with who's going to be paying the bills for this industry. And this industry is probably our second biggest industry, farming being our first, the agri-food sector, and then hospitality. And for them to be struggling and not know at this point, are they going to have Christmas dinners? Are they going to have entertainment on? Are they going to be able to pay their rates, their rent, their mortgages? Is quite scary for them.
Is this a surprise to you, Doogie? You're a very assiduous observer of events here. Has this, not news, it's not news yet, but have these concerns about COVID been in the pipeline, or is this a surprise semi-announcement?
It is a surprise from the announcement. I cannot believe that when hotels and these particular establishments will have bought in everything, their cash flow will have already been spent, and this is the month when they make the most money to get them through January, February and March. And I cannot believe that the executive behind are making it unstable for them. Even the very suggestion that they may close it will make it harder for them to get staff, because staff will go somewhere else where they know they can get their wages. It'll be impossible for lines of credit. Banks may get nervous in and around these establishments. This is a public sector. This is the institution behind us is very much public sector heavy, and they do not seem to understand the needs of the private sector and how the private sector works. If they were going to do this, they should have done this 60 days ago, not now. And we understand that a pandemic is a pandemic and it moves quite quickly. But to do this financially when there is no other packages left and just announce it and not have anything else in place is quite shocking.
Well, Doogie Beattie, thanks for that update. Doogie's going to be a big part of our coverage here in Northern Ireland tomorrow as we move on to Enniskillen and Fermanagh down by the border with the Republic of Ireland, and on Thursday when we move up to Coleraine on the beautiful northern coast of Northern Ireland, Portrush near the world famous Giant's Causeway. But Doogie Beattie, for now, thank you very much. After the break here on The Money, we're going to be hearing from a young couple who are in Ballyclare, about 12 miles from Belfast, from where I'm sitting here in the Titanic Belfast Visitor attraction. They are prolonging Northern Ireland's manufacturing heritage. But stay with us, that's after the GB News headlines with Tamsin Roberts.
Good afternoon. Here are the latest headlines. Ministers in Northern Ireland have announced a series of new restrictions to try and curb the spread of COVID-19. People will be asked to work from home and limit their social contacts and meet outdoors where possible. The executive says intervention is now required as admissions are rising and are expected to increase further in the coming weeks. A requiem mass of Sir David Amess, the Conservative MP who was killed during a constituency meeting last month, has taken place at Westminster Cathedral. The Archbishop of Westminster led the service alongside a representative from the Vatican who delivered a special message from Pope Francis. The service follows the private funeral held in Southend yesterday. At least 45 people, including 12 children, have died in a bus crash in western Bulgaria. 7 people who managed to escape are in hospital in a stable condition. The incident happened on a highway about 45 kilometres west of the capital, Sofia, in the early hours of this morning. Bulgarian officials say the cause is unknown. The Brit Awards are going gender neutral, with the male and female categories being scrapped. Instead, prizes will be given to Artist of the Year and International Artist of the Year. Sam Smith, who won the Critics' Choice Prize in 2014 and identifies as gender neutral, was among those pushing for the move. Well, I'll have more on all of today's main stories at 2 o'clock.
You're watching GB News live across the UK and the world on our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We are here for you. Don't forget to join our YouTube community by clicking on that subscribe button.
And if you want the GB News app, you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you, so email us.
gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of 2 wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
I'm Colin Brazier. I've reported from more than 70 countries around the world, covered wars from Afghanistan to Iraq, from Lebanon to the Balkans. I'm trying to bring that experience, that feel for events, to the studio. And something else, I'm ready to give an opinion. Today's stories with a spark. Brazier from 8 p.m. weekdays on GB News.
Welcome back. You're on the money with me, Liam Halligan. A special Northern Ireland edition of On the Money. We are here in the Titanic Belfast visitor attraction. The Lagan River is behind me. You can see there the shipyard in which the Titanic and many, many other ships were built that didn't suffer the unfortunate fate of the Titanic. I'm here in Northern Ireland today, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm here with the GB News political editor, Darren McCaffrey, and the rest of our team. We're broadcasting from Belfast today. Darren's on at 3 p.m. We're broadcasting from Enniskillen on Wednesday, and from Coleraine up on the northern coast of Northern Ireland on Thursday. Also involved in our coverage, though, is Paul Hawkins, one of our GB News reporters. We sent him to Northern Ireland to make an extended film, a documentary that we'll be showing later in the week. But here's just a little clip. Paul's been examining the title of his film, Northern Ireland, The Problem with the Protocol. That protocol there, of course, keeps the Northern Ireland in the European Union single market, but makes it outside the European Union more generally. The idea being to prevent a hard border across the island of Ireland between Northern Ireland and the Republic. And my colleague Paul Hawkins asked one farmer in particular the issues that he was having with that Northern Ireland protocol.
What's this one's name?
Korski Vesna.
Korski Vesna?
Vesna.
How do you decide on a name?
We bought that cow back in 2008.
Right.
That cow there is 14-year-old. She's done having natural calves. We're just flushing away at her, taking embryos.
Alan breeds cows and used to sell them to Scottish farmers who paid the best price. But the protocol has changed all that.
How much riskier has the protocol made it?
Big time. It's made it a lot riskier. We bred these pedigrees here to take across. The top end ones we take to Sterling every year. We were going twice a year, every February and October. And now from the 1st of January, if we take a bull and we don't sell him, or we get turned out of an inspection before the sale, we can't bring him home again for 6 months. And this is serious, serious stuff.
How much is that costing you? That potential sale that you could make when you're there?
Well, if you have a good bull there, you could be making you 7, 8, 9, 10 grand.
Right.
If you have the right bull. That's twice a year.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money in the year gone. I voted for out, to be honest.
You voted for out. Did you anticipate this kind of problem?
No. As I say before, it was never mentioned of.
We'd spoken to people who feel strongly about their identity and who they are, and that they feel British, and that this de facto border in the Irish Sea makes them feel further from Britain, and that they feel Boris Johnson said there wouldn't be any sort of border in the Irish Sea, and now there is, and they feel betrayed. How do you feel about that? Do you feel strongly at all? Couldn't care less?
To be honest, I'm not really worried about that side of the thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
As long as we're getting away with our product, making good money on the business, not really worried about anything else down that line of thing.
Yeah. Do you feel betrayed by Boris Johnson?
No.
And that was just an excerpt from a GB News documentary, Northern Ireland, The Problem with the Protocol. It's been put together by my colleague Paul Hawkins. Unlike myself, unlike Darren McCaffrey, he has no connection with Northern Ireland or the island of Ireland. We sent him here in order to get his head around the politics and the people. And it's a wonderful little film. We'll be showing it in full on GB News on Friday. It's a 30-minute film, and then subsequently it will be available on the GB News app and on the GB News YouTube channel. Do take a look. Now, it's On the Money. We are in Northern Ireland, but it's like any other edition of On the Money, and that means it's time for my in-depth daily interview series. Here it is. It's Money Talks. Now, for this edition of Money Talks, I wanted to talk to a business which I felt really embodied the spirit, the soul and the future of Northern Ireland. And I'm delighted to say that just down the road, about 12 miles from the centre of Belfast, where I am at the Titanic Belfast visitor attraction, is Ballyclare. And in Ballyclare, there's a company called Ross Industries. Now, Ross Industries is the brainchild, the baby, if you like, though they've got 3 other lovely kids, of William Ross and Nicole Ross, a husband and wife team. He's an engineer. She has a background in retailing, accounting, finance and business. The 2 of them got together, and in 2017 they formed a company, a manufacturing company called Ross Industries. So it's Ross Industries, William and Nicole Ross, who are our latest Money Talks, and here they are. William, tell us about the nature of your business. What is it that you do here at Ross?
We are an engineering company. We cover a broad range of engineering aspects. So one side of the company is service-based. It's engineers on site and subcontracted into food factories, aggregate companies and production companies to help maintain and increase their productivity. The other side is a lean manufacturing. It's production lines for the manufacture of everything from finished products right down to palletised parts.
So you're both making and maintaining, you're manufacturing machinery here in Northern Ireland. Nicole, do you come from a business background yourself?
I do indeed. I was raised in a retail environment right from when I was 15 and worked there all my life through my mum's business. Then I took over the retail business, and then I moved into the engineering industry with Williams.
So when you guys, I understand you're childhood sweethearts, right? You've known each other since you were teenagers, you got married. When you married her, did you think, oh, she'll be useful in a business that we can run together? Were your intentions honourable?
The intentions were honourable, yes. She was well switched on, so both had the same ideas of what we were moving towards, you know. So.
What is it that makes you entrepreneurs? Could you, either of you, work for other people, or were you always going to be entrepreneurs who owned and ran your own business?
Not sure if I couldn't work for someone. I have. I do like the business end of it. I like doing business with people, and I've always liked creating jobs. That's the end of the business I like the most.
Now you've gone incredibly from January this year. You've gone from 9 to now 40 employees, Nicole. Your business seems to be doing quite well. Tell us about Northern Ireland's, because there's a tremendous manufacturing heritage here, right? This is one of the shipbuilding centres of the world. There's an awful lot of well-trained engineers and manufacturers here. So what do you see the advantages are of having your business here in Northern Ireland?
I think the roots are very much in Northern Ireland, in the blood of the people here in the manufacturing industry. They've been brought up with it, and their families. It's in them. They are very much interested. They have the hands for it. They have the skills for it, and those skills turn into what we can produce here.
How do you find actually recruiting people, though? You've expanded your business very, very quickly. There is a heritage of manufacturing here in Northern Ireland. Are you seeing the skills coming through, particularly in the younger generation, William? Are there enough apprenticeships here in Northern Ireland to keep that manufacturing heritage going and even build on it?
I think the apprenticeship schemes for all trades, especially engineering at the moment, probably could be pushed a little more, and definitely more advertising done to try and encourage the younger generation to come into it. Manufacturing, not only us, but as a whole country, is booming here. So there is probably a shortage per business of men to go around. There's a great future for anybody who wants to come out of school into engineering. It's a job for life, and it's only going one direction here.
Nicole, tell us about your business during the pandemic, because you started the business, I believe, in 2017. You've had tremendous growth since the start of this year, 2021. How was it as we went into 2020 and in the depths of the pandemic in the summer of 2020 and this time last year?
Initially we had the scare, a wee bit of slump, roughly for about 1 month. Then suddenly we had an increased demand for maintenance engineers as the food industry suddenly increased for local produce. So they needed maintenance engineers in the factories. So then that turned into the manufacturing industry just started booming again. Again, they needed maintenance engineers and more machinery. So we took a boom there. Then in February we seen an opportunity with the demand being bigger than the supply in the market for the lean manufacturing end. So we moved premises and opened up here. And now we've grown to 40 employees.
So you're seeing quite explosive growth out the back of the pandemic, an explosion in demand, and the supply isn't there. So you're able to get your engineers on site, you're able to take manufacturing orders for machinery that you build. That's really interesting. To what extent do you think this growth spurt can be maintained here in Northern Ireland, particularly in your business? And what might it be that knocks it off pace, if you like?
I think a lot of people here are struggling with imports at the moment. We would have worked originally with, if we were buying from stockholders or suppliers, usually they'd have been talking very most 4 to 5 days turnaround.
So these are
for deliveries.
components you're buying from abroad
yes,
to put in your
raw materials,
the machines that you're making?
Yes, raw materials and parts, but now a lot of our stockholders and a lot of our suppliers are now saying up to 15 days for deliveries. You know,
is that a logistics thing, just like the whole world suffering from logistical snarl-ups, or is that particularly a Northern Ireland thing related to the protocol?
I think it's both. It's a knock-on effect from a lot of companies being closed in 2020, and now they can't catch up with their manufacturing. The world's surplus has been used up, and now these companies are all trying to fill that void. And also the protocol, there's an issue there with the Irish Sea border where there's more paperwork, and there's a lot, as Nicole was saying, there's a lot of companies are now not even interested in dealing with Northern Ireland.
So you talk to lots of consumers, households here in Northern Ireland, they may find it difficult to order stuff from the rest of the UK or even the rest of the world, if you like. But you're saying at the wholesale level, for corporations, for businesses like yours, that the protocol's also making it difficult for you guys to get hold of the materials, the components that you need?
Certainly, yes. We've noticed the deliveries, maybe would have been 2 a week from a supplier, now they're cutting down, less paperwork to once a week.
But you also see, don't you, Nicole, I understand, an opportunity in the protocol, an opportunity in the fact that Northern Ireland is obviously part of the UK, but it's also in the European single market for goods. What do you mean by that?
Certainly, we have a very niche marketplace here with 1 foot in the UK and 1 foot in the EU. So there's great potential there to what businesses can do in this niche market. I think certainly great opportunities for the next year or two for people to exploit.
We hear a lot of negativity about the protocol because it's obviously a point of contention, and it seems to be a really big loose end of Brexit, and the government gets criticised for that quite a lot. But you're saying the business community here in Northern Ireland doesn't quite see it like that. Yes, it can be an issue in some senses, but it can also be an opportunity for people as well.
Certainly there's great opportunities there.
Is that what you think too, William?
I think so. I think if it's addressed correctly and it's approached in the right manner, I think Northern Ireland has definitely, as Nicole says, a niche where we have an entrance into Europe and an entrance into the UK.
How could that help your business, William?
Well, it gives us great opportunities for export, both of knowledge, machines, services, especially a lot of our customers that are food-based. It gives them also a great opportunity. There's a great market out there that can be tapped into if it just needs to be handled correctly by the powers,
Now, you're both proud Northern Ireland people. You're part of the UK. Do you feel any disadvantages about building a business, raising a family here in Northern Ireland? Or do you feel that Northern Ireland is an integral part of the UK with all the advantages that entails?
Certainly, we were born and bred here. We're home roots here. We built on William's father's farmland. Northern Ireland for us will always be our home, and we want to grow there. We want to increase jobs and really have our roots and our foundations here. There's great opportunities, with the skilled workforce, and we have everything we need here, and we have opportunities to export and expand our business.
I'm a bit older than you guys, but we're all three of us, with respect, are old enough to remember far more difficult times. How hopeful do you feel about Northern Ireland now, given that the news isn't always about trouble on the streets and political conflict and turmoil? You're obviously raising a lovely family here. You must feel that this part of the UK has a great and stable future.
Our children have a completely different country to the country we were reared in, 100%. It couldn't be further, It's a different world for the children now.
What does the Belfast Good Friday Agreement mean to you guys?
I think the country has boomed. The divisions is gone now, and people are they're working towards one direction, as a country we're always going 2 different directions. We're now working towards, and nothing can ever go wrong with that. It can only come of good. You know, only good can come off working one direction as a country, as a nation, you know.
You're two very dynamic, talented people with lots of options. In a previous generation, you might have moved to America, you might have moved to Canada to raise your family, like so many people in previous generations from the island of Ireland in general, right, north and south. So what is it, Nicole, that made you want to really stay here, make good here, build this business with himself there?
Well, we are families from here, born and bred, several generations. Our roots are really here. We're both from entrepreneurial families, and we want the economy to boom. We want to grow and employ in the area locally, and we want to keep the money in the economy for the Northern Ireland.
It's the next generation, really.
So,
you're working for the next generation, as I think every generation does. You work for the children coming up behind you.
Just winding it back to this generation, I've got to ask you, what's it like working with your wife every day?
Oh, it's bliss. Every day.
And that's where you get those diplomatic skills, William?
No, it's good. We have a good working relationship, really.
and we don't talk about business after 6 p.m. That's so.
And who empties the dishwasher?
Whoever doesn't do the cooking.
We'll say 60-40.
Oh, controversial. But seriously, there are upsides and downsides to running a family business, right? You're from a farming background, you're from a family retailing background. There are pressures, aren't there, to when your main work colleague is almost also your life partner and the mother/father of your children. How do you manage that?
We do have some basic rules where we don't discuss work after 6 o'clock. We try to make time for each other at least one night a week, where it's just me and Nicole maybe. But as a team, we work really well together.
Yeah, because you've got the engineering background, you've got the retailing, marketing, business, accounting background, so you are a good combination. And there must be a tremendous sense of achievement because your failures you share, presumably, though I know it's always his fault. But your successes, as you build this business, as you generate value out of these buildings and this machinery and this 40-strong workforce, you know you're doing it together, you know you own it jointly. That must be tremendously satisfying, Nicole.
Yes, I mean, it's tremendous. It's the past year, how they've grown. We have grown and the custom that William has got, but it's all down to his skill and his knowledge and the trust that the business has put in him and what he's able to produce. You know, he has quite a unique engineering background with all that skill set.
Can I just say what a pleasure it is to come here to Northern Ireland and find two young people, two young parents working together with their lovely family and to find a business success story. You're building a success here, aren't you?
I hope so, yes.
All the best.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
William and Nicole Ross there of Ross Industries in Ballyclare, just 12 miles from where I am here in the centre of Northern Ireland, representing Northern Ireland's manufacturing heritage past, but also its manufacturing future. Stay with us. Up at 3 o'clock, it'll be my GB News colleague, political editor Darren McCaffrey, who will be presenting from right here in Belfast. Tomorrow, Darren and I and the rest of our team will be off to Enniskillen in Fermanagh, down near the border of the Republic of Ireland. On Thursday, we'll be reporting as part of GB News Northern Ireland Week from Coleraine, up there on the lovely northern coast of Northern Ireland. In the next hour, it's Patrick Christie's The Lucky Man, standing in for me with Gloria DePiero on DePiero and Halligan. So stay with us. This is GB News. I'm Liam Halligan. I'm from Belfast, and with thanks to the Belfast Titanic Visitor Centre, that was On the Money.
It's time to remind ourselves there's always another winter. Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
Hi there. High pressure remains close to the UK, so dry for most with some sunshine today. But actually there is a lot of cloud, a bit more compared to yesterday in a few places. That cloud coming in around the top of the high, especially for northern parts of the UK, but also some cloud affecting eastern and southern districts as well. So sunshine a bit more limited compared to yesterday, but still some sunny spells about the Midlands into parts of East Anglia, southern England and South Wales. Otherwise a generally cloudy picture, the cloud thick enough for a few spots of rain and drizzle for parts of North Wales, northern and western Scotland as well, similar to yesterday really. Fewer showers for the far southeast, they'll tend to remain offshore, and temperatures around average for the time of year, 8 to 10 Celsius. Now heading into the evening, and the cloud tends to sink south somewhat. Where we do keep the clearer spells, fog will form, some dense fog patches in places. Where we get the cloudier skies, it will remain a bit milder and fog and frost free. But this weather front will sink south into northern and western Scotland, parts of Northern Ireland by dawn. A period of rain, nothing particularly heavy or prolonged, but it does clear the air to colder conditions following on for Wednesday itself. So we'll start off with that area of cloud and rain pushing into southern Scotland, the rest of Northern Ireland, arriving into northern England and North Wales by lunchtime. Further south, some dense fog about first thing, but otherwise it's a cloudy day for many, temperatures similar to today. But for Scotland and Northern Ireland, brighter, but also more showery weather and a blustery cold breeze comes along. So it's going to turn a bit more wintry, I think, over the tops of the mountains, and actually snow level coming down to about 300 metres for northern Scotland by Wednesday evening. It will tend to settle above 500 or 600 metres, and then the weather turns even colder later this week. It also turns much windier and more unsettled with rain and hill snow.
Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
You're watching GB News live across the UK and the world on our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We are here for you. Don't forget to join our YouTube community by clicking on that subscribe button.
And if you want the GB News app, you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you, so email us.
gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
I'm Colin Brazier. I've reported from more than 70 countries around the world, covered wars from Afghanistan to Iraq, from Lebanon to the Balkans. I'm trying to bring that experience, that feel for events, to the studio. And something else. I'm ready to give an opinion. Today's stories with a spark. Brazier from 8 p.m. weekdays on GB News.
Sing.
Good afternoon. It's time to debate the big issues of the day with me, Gloria Di Piero, and hello.
Hello, how are you?
You're not Liam Halligan.
I'm not Liam Halligan. Definitely not, no.
We're together all week while Liam is on his Northern Ireland road trip.
Yes, indeed. Well, we've got after a shambolic Peppa Pig themed speech to business leaders and a rebellion from some Tory MPs over social care reforms, we're asking, has Bojo lost his mojo? But first, it's time for the news.
Good afternoon, I'm Tamsin Roberts. This is your news at 2 o'clock. Ministers in Northern Ireland have announced a series of new restrictions to try and curb the spread of COVID-19. People will be asked to work from home, limit their social contacts and meet outdoors where possible. The executive says intervention is now required as admissions are rising and are expected to increase further in the coming weeks. The Requiem Mass of Sir David Amess, the Conservative MP who was killed during a constituency meeting last month, has taken place at Westminster Cathedral. The Archbishop of Westminster led the service alongside a representative from the Vatican who delivered a special message from Pope Francis. The Catholic duty priest for Parliament told the service how Sir David was a much-loved man.